Hello, curious minds. Loren here, your dedicated guide through the fascinating tapestry of real-life stories. Have you ever wondered about the peculiar moments, the heartwarming gestures, or the laugh-out-loud mishaps that shape our everyday? Today, I've gathered some truly exceptional lores just for you. Let's explore them together. Our first lore today comes from Redditor u/TheChunkyMunky. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA as it's often called, has been rolled out across the company, and messages went out starting the 1st of August, complete with video instructions for those who found the written guides a bit challenging. Even if you still found yourself in a bit of a pickle, there was always the option to call for assistance. And for those who truly couldn't get it sorted, appointments could be made to come into the office for a personal setup. It was a quiet day working from home when our storyteller received a call. "I can't work," the caller stated. "May I have your employee number?" our storyteller asked. "How am I supposed to do that if I can't work?" was the reply. "It's on the badge the company provided," our storyteller gently reminded them. Then came the employee number, amidst sounds of children, a television, music, and dogs, confirming that the caller was indeed working from home. "Okay, so you're unable to work. Are you able to log into the system?" "No, your MFA prevented me from working." Our storyteller, who had just returned from lunch, checked the caller's profile. MFA had been set up for this individual on August 20th. "Okay, so after you sign onto your laptop, are you prompted to sign in again, and then a 2-digit code is displayed?" "Yes, that's what prevented me from working." "Okay, do you have your company phone?" "This is preventing me from working. I need you to email my supervisor that it doesn't work." "Can we go ahead and grab the company phone and attempt to log you in with my assistance?" "It's not going to work, so you're going to have to email my supervisor." "Okay, so do me a favor and unlock your phone." "My phone is acting up too, and everything is acting up on it." "Okay, so now that it is unlocked, can you open up the MFA app?" "My phone says stuff and keeps changing language." Our storyteller mused that this person might be at the start of an iPhone configuration screen, where it greets you in various languages. "Did you recently reset your phone?" "I didn't do anything. The phone doesn't work." It became clear to our storyteller that the lady likely wiped her phone due to too many incorrect passcode attempts. "Did you attempt the unlock passcode on your phone and it failed to unlock multiple times?"
So your phone is at the configuration screen. After failed attempts, you have to call us to unlock and help reset your passcode. I will send you the instructional video on how to reconfigure your phone. If you still find yourself struggling with the configuration process, please call the help desk to schedule an appointment for further assistance.
"The phone doesn't work. You all need to give me a new one," and so on, the caller insisted.
Our storyteller, ever so patient, gently cut them off. "On your computer screen, can you attempt to log in again and let me know once the 2-digit code displays?"
"What's that? Hold up, what are you saying?"
"Let's go to your laptop and attempt to sign in, to the point where the 2-digit code is displayed on the screen," our storyteller clarified.
"I don't understand what you're saying. You need to describe to me what I need to do."
"So, when your laptop starts up, it automatically launches the program that has you sign in. Once the sign-in window opens, please sign in."
"Okay, I know that I'm signing in."
"Please let me know once you've signed in and the 2-digit code is displayed."
"Wait, I don't understand you. You keep saying this word like I work in IT or something. What is this word code?"
"Do you see the 2 numbers on your screen?" our storyteller asked, simplifying the terminology.
"Why can't you just say that? They're numbers. You keep saying code," came the reply.
"Do you see the 2 numbers? And below it, do you see I can't use my Microsoft Authenticator right now? Click on that," our storyteller instructed.
"Okay, so I see the code, and I click the blue sentence."
With a subtle sigh, our storyteller replied. "Go ahead and choose the alternative options to verify."
"Okay, so can you send my supervisor the email because I couldn't work because of you all?"
"It's almost 2 p.m. and our help desk is available from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. Was there an attempt to reach us earlier?"
How am I supposed to call when my phone wasn't working? And the device you're calling me from wasn't available? I don't use my personal phone for work stuff. I keep my business and personal life separate. Okay, I understand. Is there anything else I can help you with? You need to email my supervisor because I couldn't get work today. Is supervisor the supervisor listed on your profile, correct? Yes, and you need to email her before 3 because I'm about to leave. I've already emailed them as you requested. She will be provided with all the information.
Then a click and the call ended.
Our storyteller sent a detailed email explaining how the user didn't attempt the alternative method and had reset their iPhone without reaching out before the wipe. The humorous part, our storyteller noted, was that the user claimed to keep business and personal life separate, yet called before the end of the day. MFA has presented many interesting scenarios like this throughout the month, with many individuals ceasing work if authentication proved challenging. It's quite intriguing, as they were previously authenticating through text messages. Shifting gears now, we move from a moment of humor to a different kind of intrigue. Our next lore begins now. This delightful tale was shared by Redditor u/onlyroad66. I feel like I'm losing my sense of reality, begins our next storyteller. A client of the managed service provider where our storyteller works recently hired an external marketing firm. This firm specializes in AI-driven, personalized email sales generation. Their process involves sending out bulk template emails to a list of potential customers, aiming to encourage them to make a purchase. However, they are quite particular about not being called a marketing company and will correct anyone who even hints at it. But that's not the main issue for our storyteller. Instead of sending emails from their own systems or a dedicated bulk sending service, they apparently require a standard, licensed user mailbox to send what they refer to as generate personalized sales leads. Our storyteller's team warned them that this approach would likely not work, that the account would probably be blocked within a day, and that the client's entire domain ran the risk of being put on a blacklist. The marketing company, however, insisted it was fine, claiming they had done this with hundreds of clients, including some from the Fortune 500 list. The client agreed to proceed, and the manager saw it as a potential source of revenue, even if it meant a stupid tax. So, the technicians created the account. 24 hours later, a security alert popped up. Marketing.bozos@clientdomain.com had been restricted from sending emails due to suspicious outgoing messages. Upon investigation, it was confirmed that the account was sending out standard, generic messages. There was a moment of "I told you so," followed by a meeting with all affected parties to reiterate that this approach wouldn't work and to recommend their initial advice. "No," said the marketing company, "this happens all the time." They believed that the email system just needed some time to adjust to their sending patterns as they mimic human behavior. They then suggested creating a second marketing account so they could divide their sending between the two, promising it would completely resolve the issue. An argument ensued, but ultimately, the second account was created. Another 24 hours passed and 2 security alerts appeared. Both marketing.bozos@clientdomain.com and marketing.bozos2@clientdomain.com have been restricted from sending messages due to suspicious outgoing emails. Both accounts were indeed sending out generic messages. The "I told you so" was delivered with a weary sigh this time. Again, they recommended the proper course of action. "No," said the marketing company. "This has been happening increasingly often." They claimed what was truly needed was a third marketing account to ensure absolutely and with a super-duper pinky promise that this wouldn't happen again. The ensuing discussion was more tense, but at the client's insistence, a third account was created. 24 hours later, 3 security alerts hit the queue. Marketing.bozos@clientdomain.com, marketing.bozos2@clientdomain.com, and marketing.bozos3@clientdomain.com had all been restricted from sending due to suspicious outgoing messages. All 3 accounts were sending out generic messages. The "I told you so" was delivered through gritted teeth this time. Finally, the manager put their foot down, stating that they would not be creating an endless series of licensed marketing user accounts. They informed the marketing company that, at the current rate, they would need to find both a new IT provider and a new domain. Another argument ensued, and further sales generation sends were paused until a resolution could be reached. A meeting was scheduled. The meeting took place, attended by our storyteller, a senior tech and technical executive, stakeholders from the client, and the non-technical account manager from the marketing company. The account manager insisted on giving a sales pitch for their company. "We send bulk template emails to a list of potential customers and try to convince them to buy something," the account manager declared in what our storyteller described as corporate buzzword slop. "Great, amazing," our storyteller thought. "Just tell us what bulk sending platform you use and the sender policy framework record you want us to add, and we can be done with this."
No, said the account manager. "It's not our business process to use those. We prefer a personalized approach. You see, we mimic realistic human behavior," she continued. "Our unique proprietary tool, which we've connected to this email box, sends a message exactly once every 120 seconds, just like a human. We personalize our messages by using the same subject line every single time. These are not standard marketing messages. They're an AI-driven, personalized sales generation platform. Transcendent, enrapturing." Our storyteller's internal thought was, "You're sending generic messages. You're going to get the client's domain put on a blacklist. I refuse to believe that we are the first people to have pointed this out to you." The account manager eventually admitted that they had been noticing these issues recently, since the previous month apparently. But they were totally 100% certain that if they just kept at it, the email system would eventually give up. They informed the client that this situation was unsustainable, unsupportable, and posed a serious risk to their business operations. The marketing company refused to change their stance. Eventually, it was agreed to purchase a separate domain for the client's marketing, use it to create a distinct email environment, and allow the marketing company to proceed without the risk of affecting the primary domain's reputation. Our storyteller concludes, "Am I crazy? Does this sound like anything remotely reasonable? I feel like I'm going insane." A fascinating law indeed. It leaves us pondering the unexpected complexities and resolutions that life often presents. As one tale concludes, another waits to be unveiled. Our next law begins now. This intriguing account comes from Redditor u/NoWildStuff192. "Oh my goodness," our storyteller begins. "Someone tried to pressure me to stop using backslashes in usernames because it's too hard." Our storyteller explains that all their workstations are remote desktop services desktops on an Active Directory domain. As many system administrators are aware, the common format for usernames is often domain name /username, long before our storyteller joined the company. Their predecessor decided to use the user's email as an alternative for their username. This meant a user could log in using either their email address or domain name /username. The idea behind this was to make it one less piece of information for users to remember. However, after taking over a few years ago, our storyteller decided to stop setting up this alternative login, as it was causing confusion. First, they were receiving calls about email not working, when in fact, users meant they couldn't log on for some reason. Second, as the company grew, there were more instances of remote desktop services users with emails different from their login details. This led to confusion, especially if a user's role changed and they no longer used a shared email address. To summarize, our storyteller decided to separate email addresses from usernames. Email addresses are for email, and usernames are for logging in. They didn't change existing aliases for current users, they simply stopped setting it up for new users, so they would become accustomed to the new system from the start. Due to employee changes and new hires, approximately 80% of the company now uses the new username convention.
However, some users, perhaps not overly familiar with computer keyboards, found it challenging to understand that there was a key above the Enter key that they hadn't noticed before. People who had been with the company for years, whose usernames were set by default on their computers, would suddenly need to manually type their username for various reasons. They would call our storyteller, needing an explanation of what a backslash was and where to find it on the keyboard. Our storyteller would simply shake their head and move on, acknowledging that answering such questions was part of their job. The head of purchasing, a rather challenging individual, recently had a couple of new hires. Predictably, their usernames followed the new convention. She, who had one of the older usernames, became quite upset, believing our storyteller had deliberately used unusual symbols in her workers' usernames just to be difficult. "Why are these usernames so complicated? They never work right. Why aren't they like the emails?" she demanded. "I stopped doing that years ago. People were getting confused. This is how it works now," our storyteller calmly explained. "I don't care. I want my department to have emails as usernames." "You can't. This is how it works now." "We're not programmers. The slash never works." "It's a backslash above your Enter key." "Change it back. That's it, I'm calling the CEO." One might notice that this individual doesn't sound entirely rational. Our storyteller confirms this observation. Our storyteller also notes that they purposefully didn't inform her that they could alias usernames however she wanted. This was a matter of principle. Why, our storyteller wondered, should an exception be made for her department over something so trivial? It's right there on the keyboard. What would be next? Having to spell-check everyone's emails? The expectation was for people to learn to type a backslash.
It's worth mentioning that our storyteller and this individual are roughly equal in the organizational hierarchy, just 1 or 2 steps removed from the CEO. The CEO, however, is about as unfamiliar with technology as she is. While our storyteller can challenge her directly, contradicting the CEO requires a more nuanced approach. By nuance, our storyteller means being a bit clever. The following conversation was an email exchange between the three of them, formatted by our storyteller as a group chat. The CEO is referred to as CEO and the head of purchasing as HP. HP. "You/no wild stuff 192, I'm asking you to urgently change the usernames for my department back to the way they've always been. This new username convention is causing problems for my department." CEO. "You/no wild stuff 192. What's going on?" Our storyteller replied, "HP is acting out again. Her and your usernames are using an older format that I stopped using because it was causing problems. All new users since 2022 have a new kind of username that doesn't cause these problems. HP is complaining because this new format has a backslash in it, which she can't find on the keyboard. 80% of the company has been using this format without any problems for 3 years. I've told her multiple times that this is the key above the Enter key, and now she wants me to disrupt the entire company's logins instead of learning a new character. It's not even her account, it's her worker's account."
CEO, can you make an exception for her department? Our storyteller inwardly thought, "Really, dude? You're even going to consider this?" Our storyteller, "Nope, won't work. Everybody would have to switch usernames." Our storyteller admits this was a bit of a clever fabrication. CEO, HP, deal with it. Print a picture of the key and hang it above your desk if you have to. Our storyteller seriously considered framing a picture of a keyboard with the backslash highlighted and sending it to her office. Our storyteller clarifies some details for those who might be system administrators themselves. They omitted some irrelevant information for the sake of the story. There's a managed service provider involved, who has their own reasons for doing things a certain way, perhaps not always good ones, but reasons nonetheless. Our storyteller has local domain administrator privileges, but doesn't handle licensing. The managed service provider does, and they pay per license. This explains why some users might only get a specific mailbox and not a personal one they wouldn't use.
Which instead, to see he was not a straightful things. It then discussed as a constructed under prime. not complying.
There is no technical reason why people couldn't log in with their emails. Our storyteller decided to stop it because users were mixing up unrelated things and bothering them about it, and because of issues with changing roles and mailboxes. Removing that freedom from the users actually led to fewer support calls. And, oh my, the mere thought of letting them log in with a username that looks like an email, but isn't actually an email, gives our storyteller a headache. The confusion that would cause. A fascinating lore, indeed. It leaves us pondering the unexpected complexities and resolutions that life often presents. Continuing our journey through the wonders of everyday life. Here is the next found lore. This intriguing account shared by u/motherdistance4714 details a situation that truly went sideways, but with a valuable lesson at its core. Our storyteller has been the system administrator for their company for a few years, also responsible for first-level support. They've written the IT manual, the FAQ pages, the tutorials, and regular reminders about IT security, data security, and all the other things their users lovingly ignore. One of the most crucial parts of their government-mandated data security and compliance policies is the physical destruction of any decommissioned storage devices. They back up their file servers daily, but they do not back up anything stored on individual workstations. Our storyteller regularly communicates this to their users. They tell each user in person every time new devices are issued. They even wrote a guide in easy-to-understand language, with pictures, on how not to store data locally and how to use their file servers for work-related files. Our storyteller literally points.
That's what I am telling you the whole time. Are you even listening to one single word I am saying? Get me my file, now! The file was stored on the old machine. Like directly on that machine. Literally on that machine. On the machine that... Okay, the solid-state drive, but I won't confuse her with details. Was destroyed over a year ago. So? Get my file! I am sorry, I am really good at what I do, but I am not that good. I cannot do this. Is it because I did not open a ticket? She asked with a loud sigh. No, it is because it is impossible. I cannot get you a file that was on a device that is physically destroyed. So you do not want to help me? How do you solve this problem? Our storyteller, though annoyed, replied, I cannot help you. I am unable to help you. There is no way to help you. In this case. Our storyteller notes that in German the pause before the last part could be understood as an insult, but they were truly out of patience. I am going right to the CEO and tell him. Our storyteller remained silent. So, will you help me now? As I stated and explained before, there is no way to help you. And with that, she exited. About an hour later, a fellow IT professional appeared in our storyteller's office, laughing. He had been helping their CEO with an unrelated issue when the HR lady stormed in, complaining about our storyteller and how they were unwilling to help her with her very important job for the CEO. Their CEO has a very dry way of handling things. Our storyteller was told the CEO listened, nodded, looked at the screenshot folder, and then pulled up our storyteller's tutorial on data storage. The CEO then stated, It seems like you have a lot of work ahead of you, if you want to finish the report on time. I suggest you get to it. Also, please use one of the folders provided to your department, or your home folder, to store the file this time. Our storyteller acknowledges that this is a classic IT-era story, but hopes it was still enjoyed. Each lore offers a unique window into the human experience, doesn't it? Thank you for sharing this journey with me. To become a part of our growing family of found lores enthusiasts, simply press the subscribe button and join us on our continuous quest to find and share the most captivating real-life narratives.
If these stories brought a moment of joy or curiosity to your day, a gentle like on this video would be greatly appreciated. It helps more curious minds discover our collection. Tell me, what kind of lores do you find most captivating? Your comments help me to better understand what truly enchants you.